Hello, everyone, and welcome to your science lesson. Glad that you guys could join us for today. Remember, for now, what we're going to do is we've been coding in class, and now I'm going to have you code as your assignment. But we are going to start doing some other sciencey things in class. So for today, the assignment won't exactly match the lesson that I'm going to be doing. So the assignment, so that you can get on and do it right away in case you're at home, is you need to complete lessons 2, 3, 4, and 5 on code. That sounds like a lot. It does. But you're going to have a whole week to complete it. So if you are in the A group on Thursday, you're going to have till next Thursday to do it. If you're in the B group on Friday, you're going to have until next Friday to do it. The reason for that is the A group is not going to have class on Monday because of Labor Day. And the B group, you won't have to do all of it, but try to get a few of them done before I see you on Tuesday, so that it's not a big shock of you having to get all of this homework done. But with that being said, let's start our science lesson. Okay, this is one of my favorite science lessons. I usually do it every year. I've done it with 6th graders, with 7th graders, and I did it with the 4th graders last year. It's super fun, and it just gets you thinking in the way that scientists think. So this science lesson is called The Death of Mr. Xavier, and it is a murder mystery. Our I can statement, we're going to say, I can cite evidence from my sources to support my answer. I want you to be able to tell me why this can happen. So, like I said, if you are going to have me in class on Thursday or Friday, I would wait until that time to do this, okay? If you're going to have me in class. If you are not going to have me in class, or you want to watch this again, then let's go. Okay. Today, you guys are going to be detectives. We need to use our skills of deduction to discover how Mr. Xavier died. Mr. Black will explain how we must do the investigation. Whenever we make guesses, we need to have a reason for our guesses. We can't just say, I think that is big. I think that's small. I think that is going to be really hard. I think that's going to be easy. In science classes at North Butler, all the way up to 12th grade, we're going to use what's called a CER format. CER stands for claims, evidence, reasoning. You might not know exactly what those mean, but we are going to go into the next slide with that. CER. So you might hear, if I say, hey, I need a CER of that, this is what it means. Okay, it stands for claim is how you answer to the question in one sentence, okay? The evidence is at least 2 pieces of evidence from the text or the image that you used to make your claim. And reasoning is how you explain how your evidence is used to support your claim. So I have an example over here. So if the question was, is Mr. Black a cool teacher? Your claim could be that Mr. Black is the coolest teacher ever. That's your claim. Cool, right? It's pretty true. It's already true. But you do have to have some evidence to back up your claim. You can't just say Mr. Black is the coolest teacher ever and never come up with anything after that. So a couple of the reasons that I put in here that Mr. Black is the coolest teacher ever is that he cares about us and he wants us to succeed. Those are 2 reasons. And then your reasoning is Mr. Black takes the time to learn about us. So you kind of connect the 2 together. I'll give you another example. Maybe we go into the classroom and we say, why does Mr. Black's classroom smell? That's our question. The claim, you could make any claim. You could say the air conditioner's broken. You could say the guinea pig cage needs cleaned. You could say there's a leaky faucet, there is a weird smelling flower. You can make any claim you want to, but then you have to make the evidence. So in the evidence, what you would do is you would go around the classroom and you would look at the stuff. And maybe you would notice that the guinea pig cage looks really dirty. So that could be one of your evidences. Maybe you would notice that when you get closer to the guinea pig cage, it gets smellier. Okay? And then your reasoning for thinking that it's the guinea pig cage would be saying, well, when I got closer to the guinea pig cage, the smell got stronger. And when I looked at the guinea pig cage, it looked very dirty compared to how it usually looks when it is clean. So that is how you do a claim evidence reasoning. You probably will not get the claim evidence reasoning right on the very first time. And that's okay. We're going to work together on that, and we're going to actually journal in our science journals for that. Okay, so now going back to the death of Mr. Xavier, you can make any guesses about how he died, and that's your claim. It can be completely wrong. Maybe I could say, oh, I think he died on a roller coaster, or oh, I think he died rocking himself to sleep. You can make any of those, and they might be wrong. But for your evidence, you're going to have to read a little bit, and I will read this to you. You and your parents are private detectives who have been hired to investigate the death of Mr. Xavier. You and your partners, excuse me. A man who was well known for his riches and for his unfriendly nature. He was very unkind to the people who worked for him. He avoided being around people because he was always very nervous and startled easily. Upon arriving at the scene, you are told that the servants found Mr. Xavier dead in the home early this morning. The previous evening, the chef had prepared the usual dinner for Mr. Xavier: 2 steaks cooked rare and 2 baked potatoes with sour cream. The servants had left early to avoid having to travel home during last night's terrible storm. When they returned in the morning, Mr. Xavier's body was found face down in the dining room. Looking into the room, you start your investigation. The large window in the dining room had been broken and appears to have been smashed open from the outside. The carpet near the window is very wet. The body lays face down by the table and it has many cuts in it. There is a large red stain on the carpet that comes from under the body. An open bottle of red wine and a partially eaten steak still remain on the table. A chair that has been tipped over is next to the body, and under the table is a knife with blood on it. In addition, a bottle of heart medicine was discovered on a nearby table. Mr. Xavier always had Kurt Wagner, the butler, lock all the doors to the mansion at night. However, detectives found that the back door had in fact been left open. Detectives found that the chef, Robert Drake, had been the last employee to leave that night. When questioned, Mr. Drake stated that the doors are supposed to lock behind him when he leaves. That's a lot of information. So you're probably going to have to read this multiple times. So be sure to pause the video, do what you need to. What I would suggest is come up with a claim. So how did he die? How did you think he died? Or come up with multiple claims. And then give me all the evidence that could say, oh, that makes sense. If he died this way, these things all happened. Or if he died this way, all of these things happened. Or if he died this way, all of these things happened. Okay? And I would write them down. In fact, with my students in class, we are going to write down all of these, and we're going to practice our debate skills a little bit. We're going to make up some teams and see if one person thinks he died this way or died this way. I will post some extra clues on this detective case later, but I want you, if you're online or at home, to do this. And I want you to come up with some ideas. I know you might not have your science journal at home, which is okay. You can write down on a piece of paper. But if you're in person, you can wait till you're in person and we'll write down that here. So I'm excited for this science experiment, this science lab, this detective work. Have an open mind. Try your best. You'll do great. Bye, everybody.